Welcome back to the return of the Obra Dinn. So, yeah, let's figure this out. Ooh, the ship is shaking, huh? Look at that. How the screen moves. So my working theory is that the monkey did it all. It's like the mastermind behind it all. It's the surgeon's monkey. Isn't there like a Edgar Allan Poe story where the butler gorilla is the murder? Or butler ape of some sorts? Orangutan? Yeah, I think it was an orangutan. I kind of forgot to see, since we're doing this for the crab people, might as well see how many of the mermaids survived, right? So, wait a minute. No, soldiers of the sea. Part 4. Part 6, 7, 8. Is that all? Yeah, we've been here and now we're here at the Doom. And, by the way, let me see when exactly the bargain chapter comes after the Doom. Because this chapter will remain unknown until he leaves the ship and return the book to me. Let me see what Henry Evans says about regrettably failing health has allowed me to produce only the basic outline. So, why is his health failing? The first thought I had was like, he's like dying of old age somewhere, so this is like way later. Some, I don't know, 30, 40 years later. But that mustn't be necessarily true. It could be like that his health deteriorated rapidly after the trip, and this is like very shortly after the trip, or it could be like just a weird possibility that he got something that like magically enhanced his lifespan and he's like super old. Hard to say, but on the other hand, I mean, those are bones that are lying on here, on the ship. Bones. Do you know how much time it takes until bones decay? Body decays until it shows bones? I don't know, but I'd guess a few years at least. So, these are not what the corpses look like. What the corpses look like is... no, that's not really happening. No, I need a real body. Not that many real bones here, huh? When we came on the ship, it was pretty clean in a sense. There you go. He's actually still laying here right at the moment. Look at it, it's like completely decomposed. No hair, nothing left. And he had quite a full set of hair here, this guy. Beard. The head is gone, by the way. The axe is still in place. So I think it's safe to assume at least that it's not like a few months later. Right? Skeletons and bones. That's all that's left. I mean, those were not even outside. You could argue that the weather enhances the process of decay. But these were kind of sheltered in here from the rain and everything. So it could be that he's just getting old, Mr. Henry Evans. You know what's making things basically difficult is when it comes to motives, is that you only get a glimpse of the moment, and you have to kind of decide what is an action that is motivated by the temperament of a character. What is he like? What is he actively pursuing, and what is just a reaction to the circumstances that are going around him, and also kind of you lack a lot of intel about the whole picture. That's kind of what's the problem. It's like, if you're experiencing like a catastrophe or a threat or a disaster and you're in the midst of it, the biggest problem is usually that you only have a very narrow window of what's going on, right? And usually you're under time pressure as well. So you never know, like, is the captain... That's why it's, for example, hard to figure out what the captain wants. Like, first I thought it was like super harsh to put the Swedish guy in there with the captives, but then after figuring that out, it's maybe not so much. And so I'm still wondering how fair is he, basically. And the other thing is, the bargain chapter will be in the Lazarette, at least partially. But what they usually don't do is switch between locations much. I mean, they kind of switch between the decks, right? Where things happen, but not like the one time it's completely at another place. That's the final part, by the way. So maybe it's written there because the first few parts are not in the Lazarette, because it indicates a shift. That means that these two things were not in the Lazarette, right? So, I mean, how could it be? Let me rephrase this. Could it be that the guys who escaped in that little boat, but that's the bargain chapter comes before that. Could it be that they escaped like unharassed by mermaids because they don't have any shells with them and whatnot? Could be, huh? If one of them had treasure of any sorts, that surely would attract the mermaids. So, but on the other hand, we need a reason for those three guys to die. Or everyone except Henry Evans. So we can get the 5 chapters. No. Wait a minute, that's actually not right. they are not dying in the bargain chapter. Which makes it even more weird. So that means we have like the Swedish guy and one of the officers, the third or fourth, I don't remember, who can die in here. Maybe it's the same time, even part 5. And then we have like 4 people or creatures that can die here. So maybe I should look how many mermaids survive, because we just don't have the bodies for this to work. And what does bargain mean? Are they like... I mean, escape. It's right between there. But they're not on board yet. So they haven't bargained about the escape. This goes like quiet. That's not a bargaining situation. The captain, whether he just lets them leave or not is another matter, but what are they bargaining about? Yeah, I kind of want to count the mermaids now. Because that's at least what we will find in at least the final chapter of the bargain. So let me see. There's the first mermaid. She's here, where the treasure is, close to the treasure. By the way, do they have... They kind of use the same spear, like the crab people. So they're really connected, I suppose. Maybe they are the male ones, the crab riders, and those are the female ones of the same culture, tribe, whatever. Okay, that's not the boat. So that's the one who appeared first. And, oh well, let's find number 2 first. Let's go through the scenes in order here. I think that's number 2. Yeah, so that she throws a spear and then comes to grab him, because she doesn't have another weapon, apparently. Another one comes up here, and then that's number 3. We have 3 mermaids. That's like their opening attack. They always throw their spear first, so we can assume she still has a spear. You get knifed now with the full motion. Okay. She killed the one, and now she's going for the next one. Focus on the treasure, sort of, maybe. Still 3 mermaids. Sure, so she threw her spear? Yeah, that's her spear. It's pointing towards that direction. That's her spear, and she goes in for melee combat basically. Where's the third one? Didn't I just see her? Or probably underwater at the moment at some place. Or am I blind? It's not on the boat, right? No. So we can still assume there's three. Let's get out of here. Now she dies. 1. And she gets struck by lightning. 2. That the ones who threw the spear and were like close to the boat. Oh, wait a minute. Is this aiming for the third one that is underwater? Because that's basically the location where she was. Interesting. Is that all floating on the water, or am I missing something? It's kind of fun walking about the waves here, like they're frozen. I always laughed as a child, like in a museum, like what are they called? Diorama? Like the pictures that are like miniature things, figurines or whatnot, that are showing something. And this is like one, only that you can go inside and experience it. So apparently what that thing did is not kill them, right? Because they later on get active again. Why the hell would you like catch them and put them on board? Both of them, like the men and the women, have spikes in some form, and the crabs. So one is lying down there. They kind of actively went for them, apparently. I mean, she's suddenly lying on the boat. They're all like maybe alive. It's not. No, they weren't like shot. This is all done by the treasure. Interesting. Yeah, that's number 5. And for some reason, there's a price to pay for handling the treasure, and his hand burns. Still busy getting one on board. So there are two on the, well, one on the boat with the chest and 2 on the other boat. And final scene, it's probably just the same picture. So there are 3 of them in total. One with the chest, 2 in here. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we can assume it took him some hours to get back, maybe? And he wasn't attacked by any more mermaids on the way, apparently. Because he still has that treasure, and that should still pose a risk. So we can maybe assume that the ocean is safe for the time being to travel. Even with some treasure. It's only like after some hours you get a reaction from the dwellers of the sea. Okay. Let's see, where does this start? Here, right? They are unholy. So they start awakening.
About the chest and your dead friends.
This is the boat with the chest. There's only one mermaid on there. And that's the one. What is he saying about a shell? The shell must be protected? Why go to singular now? This is your fault. What are these monsters? The shell must be protected. He talked about a shell, very dangerous. We will all die. But they still want to get the two other mermaids. They're not leaving the boat, the second boat, alone. They still want to get it and bring them inside, even if they're already killed two people. So the only guy who could tell them something more about the history and background of the chest gets killed at this point. Gun deck. Okay, that's the first one, I assume. That's still the boat with the chest? Or is this the second boat? Yeah, there aren't any mermaids on that boat, so that's probably still the first one. The second boat should be on this side as well, then. It's like fighting all the way. They're not really tying her up much. Kinda underestimated the whole thing. Yeah, why is he freaking out? Why did he, like, slash off, cut off a leg of that guy? That should not just... I mean, like, if we try to think from his perspective, yeah, go nuts, I am super frightened now. But why cut off the leg of that random sailor? Did he, like, say something that he didn't like, or forced him to do something? That's still only one of them. And Philip is not here anymore, the steward. He just ran away. And so he runs away. So we can assume he's like in a panic of some sorts, right? Wait a minute. The mermaids already started made in panic?
Keep pressure here.
That's so weird. What could he have done? Must be something in the scene prior. Okay, there comes the treasure. We don't see any mermaids at the moment. So all 3 mermaids could have ended up in the lazarette as well. I mean, it happened right here. Maybe he ran down the stairs and said, well, out of my way. And this guy said, no, you've got to fight, get up again. And then he, from his perspective, started to fight in self-defense. Maybe it went like that. See, that's what I mean. Why figuring out a motive is kind of hard. Because you kind of have to know the character of a person. Would he always behave like that if he's cornered, if he's under pressure? Or is there something specific about this guy that could have triggered that? Alright. But we can only speculate. Where's the exit? Okay, do we get to see any more? No, then a whole other chapter starts. So we can assume in the lazarette there are like 3 living mermaids and 1 crab fighter in the lazarette, the final bargain chapter, or part of the bargain chapter. Are there any dead mermaids here? I don't think so, right? No, that's just that 1 crab. Dead crab. Okay. So let's start looking at the doom and the motives of the Kraken. Here we go. Yeah, well, it starts off with random force of nature. Lightning strikes. Could also be induced by the shells in the treasure chest. Maybe summoned some storms and bad weather, right? Like weather magic. Nevertheless, this guy gets electrocuted. No, I'm at the wrong scene. This guy gets clubbed. There's no cause for trouble, boys. Sort of forget you killed my brother. Let's just visit the scene. So they're already preparing an escape here, right? Here comes the bargain, but That's what they're trying to do here, right?
You killed my brother. What? That was an accident.
It's just that the boat gets caught by the Kraken.
I shouldn't have waited so long.
There are basically 2 boat escapes. Well, 3 actually. One of them, the last one being successful. And then there's some infighting here. No sign of the Kraken yet. Is there? Yeah, we don't have like that map. It's like generally in that area, so we cannot tell if how much time is between this scene and the next, basically. Things seem to have calmed down. The goat is still alive, even that late. So, what does the Kraken want? Bones. Yeah, it has to been. Years must have passed here. So, the first thing that the Kraken does, it starts here at the front of the ship. Catches like an unsuspecting victim. But it's kind of hard to tell what the Kraken does because it kind of wraps itself around the whole ship. And since it cannot see what's going on inside here and on deck, it's just kind of feeling what it's in its arms, and if it feels something fleshy, something human, it squashes them. And otherwise, it's just wrapping. It basically wants to destroy the ship in a sense, right? Can we see through a window here? They're all pretty much shut. Can we go upstairs? Yeah, it's wrapping itself around the front there. The ship is still a little tiny bit bigger than the Kraken, I think. So it's not that easy for the Kraken to get to drown it. Right. We don't know much about his character, his temperament, his behavior as well. He will come up in that scene. So what I'm going to do if I'm through with this run, basically, going through the book in this way, looking for the treasure all the time, and the monsters when they're trying to get to it, I will go through all the scenes again for a final time, and I will, well, first of all, I look at what the surgeon does and the folks involved in there, and also all survivors basically that could appear in the bargain chapter, because we might need it to make certain decisions in there. We might need the correct info. So he's like kind of nice to him. I mean, it's not like Yeah, he's looking down on the food, but it's not like he's super rude or anything. He has his job and he does his job, so it's like, we're good, buddy. So that's 2. Number 3. Gun deck. Now the mayhem starts here on the gun deck. Oh, those 2 people. Oh no, this one? Okay. Tentacles everywhere. Coming through the windows. Searching for enemies, foes to crush. They retaliate by shooting cannons. But that's not really helping against that beast. Just shooting one tentacle or so won't much make of an impression, I guess. These windows are all closed, so still all happening on one side only. Like 4 windows or so. It's not fully attacking yet. And I think there are no windows on the deck below, right? So it's basically the closest it can get to the treasure by going through the windows on the gun deck. There are no windows on the all-up deck. Let me quickly check. Yeah, there are no windows in here, so that kind of makes sense that the Kraken is going for the deck above. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, are there windows? There's that stupid walk around. Yeah, still no windows. No. It's pretty much closed here. Not a single window in here. Makes sense. This is already like dangerous if there's that the water comes in or something, so that's the best the octopus can do. Then the cannon gets fired, 2 people die. That is still the Kraken, but I doubt that it like did that on purpose with the cannon. Cannot see inside the ship. It's just feeling its way around. Still, well, now we have 4. Yeah, still only those 4 windows involved on one side. Also, the ship is noticeably like shifting, leaning towards one side. So the Kraken is kind of pulling. Okay. Next one, please. Gun deck. It's this guy. This is like not targeted. That's just a random death, basically an accident, pure accident. But what is the octopus doing? Still like trying to turn the ship over, basically. it's completely on the right side here. But look at how steep this is. This is like gravity is already pulling people down, and the cannon, of course. That's why this happens. What are you doing? Trying to help. Yeah, he's like, oh no, shit. The Kraken looks like super aggro. That's all we can say. So the treasure down below gets shaken as well. Does it matter? Maybe it's like tied up good. It doesn't move around. Now we go on the main deck again. People are coming up here and fighting the octopus. Now we'll get a better view. Of what the squid is all about. Yeah. The whole thing is like really heavily tilted to one side. What are the tentacles looking for? Not really focused on a single thing, of course, but they are still all on one side, on the same side. The octopus isn't really bigger than the ship, apparently. A lot of the tentacles are around here. And did one of the tentacles pick up one of the cannons? Must be. Maybe one of the cannons from down there, from the gun deck. Because there aren't any cannons up here. So, yeah, all arms are here. The goat is like, me, what's going on? Can we look downstairs? No, we cannot. No tentacles can be seen. It's just a gun. A cannon, I mean. Yeah, it's more like it's trying to drown the whole ship than using its tentacle to find that treasure chest inside the ship. I guess if it pulls the ship to the bottom of the sea, it can take its time to investigate it. Can handle it. The squid can handle it better than. Part 7. Now we get an active killing of the squid again. It's like that's what it likes to do. Even if though it gets hurt a bit by doing that. Now it's actively killing a seaman. Still all tentacles on one side. It's doing many things at once. Throwing that boat in the air. Holding onto the ship, I guess. And grabbing random people. Oh, it's around the mast here. It has some tentacles around the mast. Yeah, it's just trying to turn the ship over, I guess. Alright. The treasure is still far away. Below deck. Part 8. The last one. That's Abigail. Suddenly the sky seems super bright, even though it is still raining. The tentacles still on one side only, but the waves are like brutal, swapping over the deck here, trying to grab different people, take hold of the ship, like holding on to different stuff. This is basically by accident or by chance as well. Not targeted, since the squid cannot see what's going on deck here. It's just causing a ruckus. Holding on to the mast. Cannot get up here. Throwing more people around all at once. 3 tentacles here. It's basically 3 tentacles here. It's somewhere here. Okay. So now we get to the bargain chapter, where we don't know what happens to the treasure chest, but something must have happened. Otherwise, the Kraken doesn't really like vanish at the end of the chapter. We just get it as a reference. We don't know. They didn't like kill it or anything. That's unlikely. It seemed way too strong for that. So I'm inclined to believe the captain that he did do something to appease it. This could have happened in this chapter. I mean, what are they bargaining about? So, is it like the captain is bargaining with the forces of the sea? Kinda like that. Or is the crew like bargaining with each other what they should do? And this is like a huge mutiny chapter. This will, if we look at the Swedish guy and the officer, like in the final go through, this might tell us what happens here. Looking at how they behaved so far, my assessment is that the Swedish guy like snapped. It's not like he planned anything meticulously. He just went nuts. And the other officer seemed kind of nice in all the scenes. Didn't stick out like by being super harsh or rude or greedy or something. But I'll have to check again. Yeah. But on the other hand, there's that whole escape and later mutiny thing. So this could indeed be a bargaining of all the between the seamen themselves, between the whole crew. A lot of infighting, maybe. Let's see. I doubt that we will see much of the treasure here in the final 2 chapters. Whatever, or whoever did something, a crack in his gun now. And unlike the 2, the 3 mermaids and the 2 crab riders, they really couldn't have, like, successfully fought against that squid. So it's also an escalation of monster type in a sense. They get bigger, you know. It gets progressively worse. Yeah, that's exactly the point. A curse like that does not live for nothing. We should go through all the dialogue as well. Like one final time. Squid's gone. Beast is dead. No, the beast is not really dead, right? How did you kill it? We didn't, yeah. It left with the storm. So they are connected. The weather is connected to the squid. So the weather is influenced by magic, apparently. Captain came up from the hold. So the treasure was in the cargo bay. Said he chased it off. How can he chase it off if he's down in the cargo bay? What did he do down there with the treasure? Maybe he just used it like the guy, the Formosan did when he fought against the mermaids? Because it's not like you can just open a window and throw this thing out, right? So I suppose the treasure at this point is still down there, even at this point, which is kind of weird, to be honest. So maybe he didn't really appease the creature, but indeed fought it, and they got like some rest for now. But on the other hand, maybe he did later, as the captain said, throw it down when no one was watching, like throw it at the bottom of the sea. He's coming up from the cargo hold. No, that's not the cargo hold. That's the captain. So yeah, looks like they're coming from down there. He's like, I'm done with this. Decisive, but also resignating a bit.
Move quick.
They don't have the treasure chest. do they? Doesn't look like it. No. Can't see it. That's the surgeon. He just has his bag. No. This seemed to be alright. We cannot go further down. It's closed now. No, I don't think there's a chest on board there. Would make sense that the captain would let them go. That should be number 3, right?
Let them go.
She's cowering in fear. Ah. What is the surgeon doing? He has an axe in his hand? Preparing to fight, apparently. Oh, okay. Interesting. He's always quick to fight. He always has a weapon in his hand. And I think the goat is pretty much dead at this point. Maybe they killed it to survive, like ate it. And where's the monkey anyway? We didn't see it in this scene. It's not like the surgeon would leave his monkey. Yeah, this is like super mysterious. It's something is up with that light there. Okay, part 3. Part 4 is on the gun deck now. Which one of those? This one dies first. So the boat is gone. And we cannot see any sign of treasure. This is still locked. We saw that one guy come down and it has been locked up, and then it has been locked ever since, apparently. No one did go down to the cargo hold and check on the treasure, apparently. Part 5. We cannot go up here and we cannot go down here. So that doesn't tell us much. Part 6 is there. Probably won't help a lot as well.
Oh no, you're cut.
Don't leave me.
Bear up, son.
Again, we cannot go up.
Tell Pete's mother
We cannot go down.
I tried my best
Aye,
to pull him back to save him.
you tell her yourself.
So that leaves us with the final chapter. Who are we? Damn. Um. Yeah, so they disappear. And then the whole thing here starts around the captain's cabin.
Captain, open the door! Kick it in. Ah, lest we break it down and take more than those shells! You bastards may take exactly what I give you!
Hmm. Oh, we can go through his arm here. Can go through this guy. Didn't expect that. Yeah, the goat is gone. This is like super bright. We cannot even see the sea below us. Weird. Is this like a ghost ship? No. Are we on a ghost ship? So, no chance to take a look at the treasure. And it'll stay that way for the rest of the chapter. Not sure if we even want to go through all of that. Oh well, let's do it. It's pretty quick, I'd say. Yeah, the dialogue might be interesting.
Must be in here someplace. They're at the bottom of the sea. That's a lie.
Where are they? They are at the bottom of the sea. That's a lie. So far I think it would be like super obvious if the captain at some point took a few men and brought the treasure chest up here. So I assume it is still in the latherette. And this is indeed a lie. But I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, this won't give us much info now. This is just some fighting. Everything is closed, it's all just around the cabin. And then he makes his final speech. Says, "Forgive me, love."
Abigail, your brother, my friend.
Oh, that's why he says, "Forgive me." Of course.
I'll be with you soon, my love.
That makes sense that he has like
Forgive me for everything.
a bad feeling of guilt on his conscience. Your brother, my friend, I shot him dead. I'll be with you soon, my love. Please forgive me for everything. But maybe it's more than that, just one thing. If he says for everything, maybe because he let her die as well. Like, from his perspective. Not really, of course. I shot him dead. So he is like, even he was super aggressive in that scene. It also was a bit out of fear for his own life. So, he's not exactly pleased with the situation. He didn't want to do it. So, he seems to be resignating a lot in the end. Why would a guy like that keep the treasure on board, to be honest? Maybe he did throw it in the sea at some point. Really hard to tell. We cannot... At this point, I'm just guessing. We should move on. We really should move on to the bargain chapter. So... yeah. Sorry if that's kind of boring for you at the moment. But I'm sure a lot of people would have just gone like instantly to the bargain chapter, but I kind of want to understand the whole thing, you know. Right. Look at the sail. Not much left of it, right? It's yeah, that's not how the ship moved. It just was it didn't use the wind anymore, I guess, to travel. It just floated until it was discovered by someone, apparently, and we got on this board. There's a big hole in that sail. 2 of them, 2 holes. Alright. Yeah, so I'll make one final run through the book. So if we see it is labeled, if we say that Henry Evans, the surgeon, wrote it, and it is labeled 1807, this means that Henry Evans wrote this, and I'm not sure, is it 1807 now, or when that happened? Well, let's try to figure out his motives. I trust that you now find yourself about I'll read this again, one more time. One final time. About the Obra Dinn. I expected this day to come. And, well, this didn't really... I didn't really notice this before, but... This means he's been waiting for the return of the Obra Dinn for a while. Probably years, according to looking at the bones. And my every intention was to tell the ship's strange tale. It's in the pages of this book. So he has been waiting for this to happen for a long time. Huh. Regrettably, failing health has allowed me to produce only the basic outline that follows. So he was like middle-aged in all the scenes, so he might be an old man by now. Your presence on the Obra Dinn is critical. Let's not skip over the lines. Let's like really soak them in and absorb them. Regrettably, failing health has allowed me to produce only the basic outline. Yeah, so the whole structure is weird, by the way. There are some scenes where the surgeon wasn't there. And even in the outlines, well, in the outlines, I don't even know. I have the feeling... Wait a second, let me see. How could he know, like, example, who was, like, present when there were, like, only a few people? Or take the very, very last chapters. Tell me this, please. I mean, this could also be a weakness of the script, of course. I don't know how well it is written in the end. But tell me this. So the surgeon is on that boat, and he says bye-bye after the escape, right? There he goes. Is alive in Africa. I'm not sure if they are actually alive in Africa. They might have as well have been taken as prisoners by some sea creatures and appear in the bargain chapter. So he's not on board anymore. So how can he know all what happens here? There's no way in hell he can know this. Not the slightest. He cannot know 3 were present. Yeah, okay. This one might be. But he cannot know this one. He cannot know that one got shot here. Because the Obra Dinn, like we have just read, just returned, right? I mean, that could be like a fault of a flaw of the game mechanic. But if we go on about it, like logically, maybe if there's some magic involved and he has some clairvoyance or I don't know, second sight or something, gift of second sight, but otherwise he cannot know what happened in the end. Nobody knows what happened in the end. They are all dead. We are the only one who can know this. Like what happened here between those 4 guys. That the captain committed suicide. Nobody knows this. This is like fresh info. We're the first one on board of the ship, as I understood, right? So you cannot write, not even outlining this outside the captain's quarters. How do you know? Maybe they were all in the cargo bay, cargo deck. How would the surgeon know who got killed or who died? Even not sure, man. This is weird. Anyway, let's read on for now. Your presence. So he's like super interested. I mean, it is kind of understandable, of course, but he knew that it was like strange to begin with. Everything that happened up to the point he left. Strange, the ship's strange tale. But it's not like he's. Is he trying to find out what happened to the rest of the crew? I guess he wants to know that as well. Your presence on the Obra Dinn is critical. Okay. I leave the discovery of its fate and the completion of this book in your hands. The next few pages will seem bewildering at first. All will make sense in time. Will it though? And then there's a pocket watch. So we have already introduced an element of magic by the chest, but yeah, let's be real here. Henry Evans is giving us a magical item, right? Yes, giving us just casually a magical item in which we can travel through time into the memory of dead people. Totally normal. We use the pocket watch to determine the identity and fate of everyone aboard. So he's no stranger to magic, I assume. Some form or another. He at least now knows something about that. Complete each chapter. So that's also a thing, like the 3 layers I like to talk about, like what the player, the gamer, is like expecting when he sees like the whole cover and atmosphere of the book, the first impressions basically, and then what the developers are expecting from the gamer, and then there is what the developer has really created with eventual flaws. And so this is a question of, did the developer, and he did it's just one basically who did, of course, make some impressive work and effort. So the question basically is, did he think of everything that we can think of, right? Of course not everything, but like the important parts for the story to work. That's basically the question. Does the story work, right? Does the logic hold up in the end? That I don't know. Use the pocket watch to determine the identity and fate of everyone aboard. Sure. Complete each chapter accurately and return the book by guaranteed post, whatever that is, guaranteed post, to the French Office of Affairs in Morocco. Return the book to the French Office of Affairs in Morocco. So are you in Morocco now? Yeah, because it's not saying bring it to the post office in Morocco. He's saying post it to the French office. So we can assume he's in Morocco now, right? Did I read this wrong? Right? I'm not a native speaker, so there might be some confusion here. The bargain chapter will remain unknown to you. I possess the details within, but I have elected to keep them private for now. Why does he want to keep them secret? What's the motive behind this? We gotta ask this ourselves as well while we travel one more time through Henry Evans' life on the Obra Dinn. Who is he not trusting, and why does he make an exception for that chapter? The bargain chapter will remain unknown to you. I possess the details within, but I have elected to keep them private for now. This is after the doom, before the escape. So he's still on board here. He could have been down there and witnessed everything. Probably is. Yeah, he probably is. But why does he wanna go away with the others, like quietly in the middle of the night? It's not like he's asking the captain. They do their own thing, and that's why one of the officers rightfully speaks about mutiny. They basically make their own decision, the surgeon, that is, and the other guys defying the captain in a way. Or at least not even asking them. They talk about that they don't trust the captain, right? Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. They don't trust the captain. But why? Not sure. Did he something evil? Did he do something evil? Maybe in the bargaining chapter? Because that's when the whole thing comes up. Before that, it was like they didn't really question the captain before that, right? I mean, one got crazy, of course, and the Swedish guy, but the other ones, I don't know, man. Yeah, like I said, I'll do one final run, go through all the dialogue as well. Maybe I should go through the dialogue first, just the dialogue. And then we'll take a look at certain characters. Basically, well, all characters, in a sense. Like, yeah, we know most of it anyway, so I'm not expecting any big surprises, to be honest. Not even when it comes to him, the third mate. Ah, well. Alright, but I'll make a break here. Man, it's teasing us, it's taunting us. So, see you next time for the final run then. Bye bye.